Welcome back to Positive Energy. My name is PJ Zonsius, and today we have Ira Pearl, and we're excited to be with him. Ira, how are you today?
Oh, doing great, PJ. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show. Can you give me kind of a brief rundown on what your role is at Cox?
Sure. I'm the head of environmental sustainability at Cox, which we also call Cox Conserves. And my role is to lead a team that's responsible for implementing our environmental sustainability initiatives across all of Cox's divisions.
And what, at a high level, what is Cox?
Very good question. Cox is a over 120-year company that was founded by Governor James M. Cox, originally by acquiring what is now the Dayton Daily News. And over the last 120 years, Cox has grown to be a global company, over 50,000 employees and $20 billion in revenues. We have two main divisions, Cox Communication and Cox Automotive. Cox Communications is the third largest broadband provider in the United States. And Cox Automotive has many brands that you probably recognize, including Manheim Auto Auction, Kelley Blue Book, Auto Trader, Dealer.com, and many others. Additionally, about 5 years ago, we began to make investments in the clean tech space, which also includes ag tech. So we've acquired companies like Bright Farms, Anuvia, Nexus Fuels, Sierra Energy, and others. And our goal is to continue to grow that investment. We've invested a little over $1 billion so far in the last 4.5 years.
And so how does your organization fit into that greater picture?
Great question. So my organization really fits across all of Cox's enterprises, whether it's automotive, clean tech, communication, you name it. And our goal is to develop and implement a strategy to reduce and neutralize our environmental footprint. And we're heavily integrated into the organization. As part of that strategy. We have such great support, and I'm really proud to say that Cox is a leader in sustainability, and we've demonstrated that by advancing our goals by 10 years for carbon and water neutrality just in the last year, bringing those goals from 2044 to 2034, which constructively puts them within the working lifetime of most of the employees. So having a clear goal that you have to accomplish before your work is done adds a lot of motivation to folks. And we've always had a goal, at least for the last 10 years, to be zero waste to landfill by 2024. We have great engagement by the leadership team, and the family support is unparalleled. The leadership team fully embraces it. I have a Cox Environmental Council that's comprised of executive vice presidents and senior vice presidents from throughout the company that we report to, and we provide input on what we're doing, and they give us guidance. We also have regional, local, and even national environmental councils and green teams at our local facilities. There's a great sense of community and competition. So it is so integrated into the strategy, there's no real differentiation where it's an extra layer that we add on. In addition to that, I'm also part of the mergers and acquisitions team. So we're already looking at environmental sustainability as we're doing due diligence on potential acquisitions to make sure they're a good cultural fit, think about how we're going to integrate them in, and then the integration planning of those acquisitions so that we can ramp them into our carbon, water, and waste zero strategies.
Wow. So you've had you've been in the industry for a while. You've had a lot of different roles. What about this role excites you?
Yeah, it is exciting, and I love being at Cox, and there's no place I've ever been that's quite like it. You know, my career has revolved around renewables and energy and environmental sustainability for over 20 years. I've done it in the consulting world, I've done it at Fortune 500s, and I've done it at small companies and startups. And I love being able to bring to bear all of that experience and leading my team to come up with new and innovative ways to reduce our environmental footprint and not only do it in a way that's transparent, but that inspires and leads other companies to follow us down that path. And Cox is so wonderful because the family values and the DNA of the company itself is all around leaving the world a better place, and taking care of the natural environment is part of that, a very big part of that, and it's very much on the radar of the family that owns the company. In fact, when we accelerated our goals last fall, I went and talked to the CEO and I said, here's what I'd like to do with the goals. He was very excited about it, and I said, Bud, if we're going to do this, we have an investment that we need to make, and I want to make sure you're committing to that investment. And I think I'm the only executive at the company that's got a 14-year approved capital plan from the CEO that'll get us there.
That's a good place to be. So, you know, you've kind of touched on this a little bit, but can you maybe expand a little more? When you think about the vision of sustainability in Cox for the future, what does that look like for you?
Well, you know, one of the things that we're really committed to doing is solving the problem inside of our own four walls and our footprint. We're not out there buying a lot of carbon credits or other things to get there. What we're trying to do is first to reduce the amount of energy or water that we consume, or reduce the amount of materials that we get from our suppliers that then become waste. So that's the first objective, is to eliminate the amount we can at the water's edge. And then secondly, that which we cannot reduce, we seek to replace. So our energy, we want to replace with renewables where we can, and we particularly would like to build it behind our fence line, whether it's solar or something else. And for water, for example, rainwater harvesting systems, water reclamation systems. Our biggest water consumer is the Mannheim Auto Auctions. We wash between 4 and 5 million cars a year that are consigned to us. And we're working on prototypes for water reclamation systems so that we can reuse that. And for waste, obviously recycling everything we can. We have an investment recovery group within Cox Communications that saves about $25 million a year while avoiding hundreds of tons of waste going to the landfill of communication gear that we can either repurpose ourselves or sell on the market to secondary users who can use that. So, we go from taking the position of reducing what we can, replacing what we cannot reduce, and then what we have to do is offset whatever's left. And even our offset programs will develop offsite programs like solar or landfill gas to electricity. We invest in the community through partnerships like the Recycling Partnership, Bonneville Environmental Foundation, the California Water Action Coalition. So all the things that we do to offset the residual impacts that we can't drive to zero ourselves are programs that we are funding and driving with full transparency, as opposed to sort of putting money out in the market somewhere and hoping somebody does something good with it.
So I may be a little biased to natural gas, but how do you think that plays into your plans as you look forward?
Well, natural gas is a very important part of our journey because the source to site efficiency that we get from natural gas where we use it is second to none. And in even the most rigorous renewable portfolio standard states like California, their goal is to be 50% renewable by 2050. I still have to deal with 50% that's non-renewable fossil powered energy. And I would much rather, and it's a much easier offset to deal with natural gas in direct use, which is 95% efficient, than 35% efficient electricity that has a much higher carbon footprint. So we're big users of natural gas. In fact, at our Bright Farm subsidiary, they were looking to buy a boiler the other day, and I got the question, hey, we're thinking about getting this new boiler. I said, are you getting a natural gas boiler, was my first question, because I said, I don't want to have to offset the electricity use from an electric boiler. So it's important, and not only that, but there's a belief that there's a lot of opportunity to electrify everything. But looking at the numbers, we are generations away from being a 100% renewable electricity society. So natural gas is a very key component and a long-term bridge to that fully renewable environment.
So when you think about 10 years from now, what is the story that you want to tell about your team and what you've done?
10 years from now, I'd like to look back and say, Cox has done an amazing job at neutralizing our environmental impact with ambitious goals and solid plans to get there. And we've done it in a way that's provided a lot of transparency as well as an example for others to follow us down that path. But I think there's more to that as well. Because of the growth plans of our company, I'm hopeful that we'll have grown tenfold in the clean tech space, where we can not only grow our business and our profitability, but at the same time make the world a better place, reduce the environmental impact of waste or water or fuels, or improve local agriculture to reduce the carbon footprint of getting leafy greens to the market, as is in the case with Bright Farms, and do so also with the acquisitions we do from Cox Communications and Cox Automotive to ramp those into our plans to be zero carbon impact, zero water impact, and zero waste to landfill.
Ira, thanks for joining us today. I know talking with you, it's just exciting to hear about what that vision is and your leadership to bring Cox there. It's going to be fun to watch. So,
my pleasure, PJ. Thank you.
So thank you guys for joining us too, and hopefully you guys tune into more positive energies as we bring out more series. And thanks for being with us, and stay safe out there.